We were very lucky to be joined once again on the show by a candidate running for the Senate seat for Louisiana. Gary Chambers returns to the Damage Report. Gary, how's it going?
Hey brother, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a little bit since we spoke. You've been busy. I can say that I had an experience that I think a lot of people had, which is there was a day a few weeks back where I refreshed my Twitter timeline and a political ad came up and I turned it on and I was just blown away. And I think you're familiar with the ad because you starred in the ad. So tell us a little bit about your 37 seconds ad where you're smoking marijuana, you're talking about the inequity in the justice system. Tell us about that.
Well, I think it was quite effective at this point because it cut through the noise, which was the objective to create a conversation where Louisiana could be a part of the national conversation as it related to these Senate races and the injustice and the inequity that exists in our state. I've come on your show numerous times and talked about our state's ranking, how we rank number 50 in crime and 49 in the economy. And we're jailing people for cannabis still in the state of Louisiana. And we're the 50th ranked state in crime. And so obviously it is not working. It's not working for any state in this country. And we need a United States senator that will prioritize how do we get equity and justice to exist nationwide on this policy. 19 states have now legalized recreational cannabis. 30 plus states have some form of medicinal legalization. The state of Louisiana even takes my tax dollars and grows cannabis at Louisiana State University and Southern University, yet does not allow people to purchase this for recreational use or make it affordable for people who have medicinal needs, right? And so I just think that it's something that needs to be a part of the national conversation because as long as we have states that are still putting people in jail for this, it's problematic.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, we know you were just in California. It's really bizarre to live in a country where before you get on a plane, you can do something legally. After you get it off, it's illegal again. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So would you say that overall, I know you were brought on to some news shows and things to discuss that. Would you say that it has worked the way you'd want? Like people are engaging with the actual substance of what you were revealing in the ad?
Yeah, I think that it's really been transformational in many ways. We didn't know that it would get this type of positive feedback, but it has, and we're grateful for that. I think that it did create a conversation. You just referenced us being in California. We had dozens of people show up at each event we had in California. We've had people all over the state of Louisiana reaching out. It has helped our fundraising. People have been going to chambersforlouisiana.com and making contributions. And so it's put us into the national conversation, I think, in a real way, because I'm not just using this to talk about cannabis. We're talking about the environmental issues here in Louisiana. We're talking about the healthcare issues here in Louisiana, education, and all of the things that impact people. And it's really allowed us a platform to be able to have that conversation with people that otherwise I'm not sure we would have. So if I got to smoke a blunt to kick these facts, then I will.
It's funny, when we were initially talking about it, we described it as a non-controversial controversy. Like I had no doubt when I saw it that some in the media and politics would be like, oh my God, how do we do that? And yet, so most people do it at some point in their life. It's legal, as you pointed out, in so many places. Public opinion is indisputable. People are totally fine with it. And so it's this weird thing where I worried that you're a strong progressive, and the media and politicians are always looking for excuses to write off strong progressives. I was worried that might be how they would react, but it doesn't seem like it has. So it was a masterstroke from your campaign.
I think that's in large part because Democrats and Republicans smoke weed, right? Young and old people use cannabis. And so as it relates to it, so many people connected with this. We've had a lot of Republicans reach out and say, they thought it was bold and something that needed to be done. We've had even Republican strategists and consultants for people in major Republican races reach out and say they wish they could get their clients on the Republican side to take bold positions in the same way. And so I don't think we anticipated it would be as successful as it was, but it has been, and we're grateful for it.
Okay. Well, at the same time, a lot of we were talking before the show about the state of Louisiana, and obviously, there's an ongoing pandemic. They're burdened by their current senator, who would be a burden literally anywhere you put him. But unfortunately, he's been put in a political position of authority in Louisiana. So tell me a little bit about the state of the state, the state of the race. Are the Republicans taking the challenge seriously now? Do you anticipate that there are going to be debates? What's the state of things?
Well, John Kennedy's fired off about 6 emails to his donors about us and called me the woke candidate that associates with the pink-haired liberal latte sipping
What?
left of Lenin, all of that other stuff is the trash he talks in his emails. It's a dog whistle in much of it. It's slightly racist. And so we know that they take us serious. They know that we're a real candidate in this race. We're the Democrat that has raised the most money so far in the US Senate race. And so we know that we're on pace to be able to be real contenders. I believe that there will be an opportunity to debate Kennedy, which I look forward to. Because I believe we can expose him for who he is, which is more like Senator Foghorn Leghorn and a crook who's been blowing up smoke in the tail of the voters of Louisiana more than I've been smoking a blunt.
So, first of all, I love that. Basically, every instance in the media where you talk about Senator Kennedy is just my favorite. But so tell us about what's coming up in the race in terms of important deadlines. What dates should people know if they want to? You said that a lot of people have been trying to get involved. If somebody watching this wants to get involved, what are some things they need to know about like the near future of the race?
Well, the big thing for us right now is we're fundraising. That's why we were in California this weekend. That's what we're going to New York for next week. And we want people to get connected to us. We've got an email fundraising at chambersforlouisiana.com that people who want to host fundraisers can reach out and host fundraisers around the country. We've also started to mount up our volunteer army because we're going to have a massive grassroots army to defeat Kennedy. The numbers are there. Louisiana can do what Georgia did. It's a state that is 40% black and brown. We have about 15 to 20% white Democrats in the state. We have a Democrat as our governor now. And so this is very much a winnable race. That's what we need the country to know. And then that if we can flip a state of 4 million people, the power that it gives us in the United States Senate. If you look at what Joe Manchin has done, one senator is extremely powerful. What if we had senators who were willing to put it all on the line for the issues and the things that we believe in? And that's why I'm in this race.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask you one more question. So obviously that should be very inspirational, I think, to the people who can volunteer and organize in your state to give you the best possible chance of being the Democratic nominee, going up against him and having the best chance. But we also know that it's gonna be a race. It's gonna take place in a national context. It's gonna be affected by what the Democrats do, what Biden does. Do you have any message for the rest of the party nationally in what they can potentially do to make races like yours easier to win, to flip states like Louisiana?
Well, number one, we need the Democratic Party, state Democratic Party, as well as the National Democratic Party to take Louisiana serious and bump us up the priority list. We have had conversations with the party and are excited about the opportunity to explore that. But we also are realistic in knowing that the South is often ignored, and we need people all over this country telling the Democratic Party to take us serious. What I would say to other folks running is be bold, be about the issues that are important to the people, because we can't control what the members of Congress do. We can't control what the members of the Senate do. We can't control what the president does. It is our job to make sure that the people know that in entrusting us with their vote, that they're going to get better than what they have right now in the representation that we go forward and bring them. Because we know that it's a mess down there. And the only way we're gonna fix this is if we expand our margins in the US Senate. And so these Senate races are extremely important. We can't just rely on a single vote margin. We've got to make sure that there are people that are elected across this country. And I'm not just talking about me, but there are people running for the US Senate in other states that are on the right side of issues that I believe will cast the ballot, cast their votes there to help the people more than bureaucrats and corporate lobbyists.
I certainly hope so. I know there's a lot of people watching our show who would love Joe Manchin, Sinema, and others to not have the single-handed ability to say no to everything that happens. And I'm not sure I can come up with a person I'd like better to get into the Senate and deny them that ability than you, Gary Chambers. So as always, we appreciate what you're doing out there and taking time to come on the show. Thank you as always.
Thank you, brother.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.